Hi, I'm Rob,
And I'm Angie.
and
And together
together we
we are
are
TwinFinity.
TwinFinity.
We're twin flames in union who have been sharing our journey to union through a series of videos. Believe it or not, this is our last official story video. It is number 43, titled The Call to Mission, as I choke.
And you know, we might say this is our last story video, but it's not going to be the last one. It'll just be the last one that's happening in rapid succession because
True.
this video brings us not too far away from present.
Yes.
It really does.
Almost a year ago exactly is what it brings us to, which is bizarre timing. We couldn't have planned that if we tried.
Speaking of which, a year ago almost, we started out our first video here at a place called Peninsula.
Yes.
It's just
Here,
a
I'll get
just
out of the way.
it's just a little peninsula that sticks out into the lower Kananaskis Lakes. We did our first video at a spot about 50 yards from here. Today it's a little cloudy, so therefore it was dark, and also that spot is not a very private spot. So we've moved out to the edge of the lake, just around the corner a little bit, and I quite like this spot too.
Yeah. Yeah, we thought for sure we had to do our last story video at the same spot we did our first one, just for completion, which is really kind of cool.
Yeah.
And on the note, I wasn't going to share it now, but since it ties in, I'm going to share it right now. I don't know if any of you have seen Marla Kelly's post on Facebook, as well as her video that she just did about today. Today is September 23rd that we're doing this video. It's a typical Sunday that we do our videos on. Today at 1:44 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, apparently there was some kind of really neat sort of tie-in with a bunch of planets or asteroids. I'm not really good with all that stuff, so I might have it wrong on what it was that's in alignment. But there's a whole cool thing with 144. And then, of course, 144,000 of us is twin flames. And then she even explained in the video and the write-up that she did that 144 adds up to 9, which is all about completion again. So amazing that we are doing our last video on a 144 kind of tie day. Neato.
And I just thought of this while you were speaking. I didn't know she was going to say all that. Our first video and our 43rd video, which is this one. No, this is 44.
Nope. 44 will be the bloopers.
Right. This is 43?
Yeah.
Okay.
43.
See, here I am blooping already. 43 and 1 is 44.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Look at you tied in the number.
And we're doing to add the two that we did at the same spot together. All right.
Pretty cool.
All right. So, yeah. Well,
it's crazy.
We are never, ever going to rehearse anything. Everything works out better when we don't rehearse.
That's true. Okay, should we do our recap?
Yeah, let's do our recap from the last video.
Yeah, we got a little bit of wind, so hopefully it doesn't catch in the audio. If it does, we'll play around and figure it out how to fix it.
Now, I think we've got it all figured out. So, for the recap, we shared our experience of attending our first Twin Flame workshop last July in Chicago and how deeply it impacted both of us.
Yeah.
Boy, did it ever.
Oh, huge.
Oh, I've never been the same, and nor will I be. And nor do I want to be. I kind of like it over here now.
In Twin Flame Land?
In Twin Flame Land. Though the workshop was only weeks before our wedding, we had lots going on. We felt very strongly called to attend. There was just no way that I wanted to miss that. As soon as I heard that there was something going on, it was a must attend. There's no way I was going to join the path without being part of the ground roots of it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't an ego thing. It just felt necessary to me. I didn't know why. I had no idea what it was going to be all about. But for me, it was a must attend. We met many soul friends and family and have made many close friendships from that workshop.
For sure.
We also shared, thank you, Wind. We also shared the story of both our wedding ring designs. That was all cute.
Cute.
After the Chicago workshop, I embraced our connection so deeply that I wanted TF and Twin Flames on my ring.
Which is totally cool.
We also talked a bit about our wedding day. And it sounds like we're going to talk a bit more about our wedding day.
Yeah.
We kind of glazed right over that.
We did.
And we caught heck for that.
Yeah, in fact, one person even asked, a YouTube viewer was like, oh my God, I'd love it if you guys did a video just on your wedding. So you know what? We'll do that. Why not? But we will tell you a little bit more because, yeah, we realized we glazed over it a bit. And just like Rob said at the end of the video, oh, there's probably stuff we forgot to show and forgot to say. Yeah.
Oh, we weren't done our video more than about 90 seconds before we had at least 3 things figured out.
But that's okay. We'll show them now, and we'll do a whole video just dedicated to our wedding. So again, for those of you panicking, again, there's comments of like, oh my God, this can't be your last video. I don't want it to be your last. Don't worry. We're not done doing videos. It's just we've caught up to our story portion. But we're still going to do videos in terms of question and answers. We're going to hopefully get back into our tangent talks.
Someday there'll be video number 250. Don't worry. This doesn't.
We're not leaving.
This doesn't stop.
So on notes of the wedding, we wanted to show you a few things that tied in. This one, oh good, that'll show up well in there.
Yes, it will.
I don't know if we should, we didn't pre-discuss this. I don't know if we should tell the whole story of how we found this or if we're going to get ourselves into trouble.
We were driving in Banff one day, right in the town site. Okay, no rangers, please. They'd been doing some work chopping down a few trees that had got old or got diseased or whatever. And this was obviously 2 trees that had started out their lives very close together. And they formed into one. And then everything got chopped down. And there was these chunks of wood about, 1.5 to 2 feet long laying in the pathway. Well, this looked like a heart. Of course, Angie said, there's heartwood. And I said, this is a national park. We can't take anything out of the national park. And we kept on walking. Well, there is a road that goes back along where this chunk of wood was. So after we were done our hike, we drove back to the spot. And I sat in the vehicle. This is sort of like a Bonnie and Clyde thing, you know. I sat in the vehicle, door open. She ran over to the edge of the pathway, grabbed the big chunk of wood, the big log of wood, ran back over to the vehicle, threw it in the vehicle. We made our getaway. And then we had some friends from where we lived chop this into 1 inch,
like
1 inch deep pieces. And that eventually held our centerpieces for our wedding.
Yeah. Like, I mean, you know me, I love hearts. So I was like, when I saw heart-shaped wood, and our whole wedding was themed in nature. Of course, you know, we had it out in nature in the mountains. And we're nature people, right? We do a lot of our videos in nature. So it was only fitting that we have nature as part of our wedding theme. So yes, I was ecstatic. And then when we do the video on our wedding, we'll show you awesome pictures. What Rob helped me do, he drilled holes in the center of all of these that we used as centerpieces. And then I used a piece of twig. And then I glued little pine cones to the ends of them. And then on that, we hung this for every one of our guests. They had a little piece of wood with their name on it and their favorite color. And on the back, this is mine, of course. So, of course, we don't have any of the guests. On the back, we glued a rock. We didn't glue, what does this one say? Twin Flame Love. We didn't have that on everybody else's. We just had thank you from us. But on our own, of course, we put Twin Flame Love.
Yeah.
So everybody got a heart-shaped rock colored in their favorite color. And these were all hanging on the kind of like this from the tree stems. It was so exciting. I was very thrilled. So yes, that was a piece that we didn't share from our last video.
A lot of Angie's imagination on the go here. She likes to create stuff.
Yes, I do. Yeah, it's fun. And in fact, those of you coming to the workshop, everybody, once they book for our workshop in Banff next month, when they book, I ask them what their favorite colors are because I'm doing fun surprises for everybody there too. So, yay. Now, we also wanted to talk about from the wedding, your ring. We talked a lot about Rob's ring, but we forgot to share with you that his ring was actually made from his parents' rings.
Yes, with both my parents having passed away not long before we got married, I had their wedding bands that were plain. I had them melted in together to make my wedding ring.
Yeah.
So
his parents are with him all the time. Is that not like the sweetest thing?
Yes.
I just love that. There's some, I had to make notes to make sure we remembered everything. We walked each other down the aisle, which is also kind of cool.
Yes.
You don't normally do that.
Nope, we walked ourselves.
We already figured, you know what, we're united. This is just a ceremony. We're already together, so we don't need to walk down the aisle separately. So we walked together.
Yep.
Do you want to talk about your no ties allowed funny, crazy
yes.
thing that you did?
I said you could, for the guys, you could wear anything you want. You could wear your dress pants and your suit jacket, but no ties. And in fact, we had a little bin with a sign saying no ties and a pair of scissors. And it was described that I would remove ties with scissors if ties showed up at the wedding. There was no ties.
And in fact, for fun, Rob did that too. I bought him a pink tie.
I had a pink tie
to cut. So we have pictures of him cutting this. I wish we would have got a video of it. We didn't think to do a video.
No,
it was awesome.
We have still pictures of me chopping my tie before and after.
Yeah, it was crazy. So yeah, we'll add those to our little video that we'll do for the wedding. So thank you for the last comments. Oh my God, you guys, there were so many of you completely enamored with Rob's ring. Everybody was just wowed. I know, wow, right? That's what happens when you go to a workshop. It just shifts your whole life, and you just like all these things you never thought you would do, all of a sudden you're doing. Rob changed a lot.
And absolutely, without a doubt, even a year later, I'm not going, what was I thinking? I totally love my ring. Yeah. Always will.
Yeah. And one more thing that we didn't show in our last video, this awesome sign. We're going to talk about that in this video more, but I wanted to show it because it relates to Chicago. When we went to the Chicago workshop, we met a dear friend there, and because people knew that we were getting married shortly after the workshop last year, one of the people that we met, I will give her name is Christine. She actually mailed us a wedding gift, and this was our wedding gift. And this ties in so much with things now and our name and everything else. So when we get there, we'll explain this amazing piece. So on that note, I think we're ready to go, are we?
I think we're ready to go. I'm just gonna make a comment before we get started, and it's a real short comment, and it's only for our own reference.
Uh-oh.
It is ever so slightly raining right now.
Yes, it is. Yes, we got little tiny
raindrops. We got tiny little raindrops. So you got just a little bit of cloud cover here and there.
You know, with that note, I'm going to adjust.
Yeah,
so we don't have rain on our computer. Here, we'll go like this. I dumped a green tea latte on it yesterday. That was bad enough. For those of you that are hooked up with me on Facebook, you saw my little picture of a green tea latte going all over the place. Managed to save the computer. Phew.
So right after we got married, we went on we had a 2-stage honeymoon. We just went on a little trip about 200 kilometers south of Canmore to a place called Kimberley Cranbrook area. And we spent some quiet time, just enjoying the gentler mountains down there, doing a little touring around. We went and did a old coal mine tour. That was really neat.
That was really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was just a good time to relax. Played another game of golf. And just saw lots of stuff that we hadn't seen together.
Yep.
Then went home, went back to work. And fast forwarding about... a couple of weeks to August 14th of 2017. Here we go again. Hi, my love. We are going to Boston. Yay.
We're barely back from Chicago. Now we're going to Boston.
Yep. Another workshop popped up. A lot of the same people doing facilitating, and absolutely wanted to go to that one too.
Yep. So that one again hosted by Dio Veselinoff, who hosted the Chicago one. There was also Marla Kelly. Marley, I like
Marley.
That.
Marley.
We'll have to call her that in real life. Marley.
Hi, Marley.
Marla Kelly. And Negla El Shami. So those three were at the Chicago workshop, and then they were also at the Boston one. And then somebody new was at the Boston one, and that was Donna Fisher. We had not met her before or weren't familiar with her, so it was really nice to get to know her.
Yeah. Certainly was.
Yeah. So what was really neat is that workshop was in October. Oddly enough, synchronistically enough, the same exact weekend we are doing our workshop in Banff. So exactly 1
1 year later.
from when we went to Boston, we ended up doing our own. Could we have planned that? That is so typical of this journey. I mean, and that's just to say too how propelled forward we were from doing 2 workshops. I mean, it
Oh.
just transformed. Like, we didn't ever think we'd do our own.
Oh
Post our
no.
own.
And I figured, yeah, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 years we'd maybe share a bit of our story with some other people. Didn't work out that way.
No, it didn't. Not at
No,
all.
no.
Not at all. And I think I had another note that I wanted to mention too. About,
Oh yeah, I had speaking note.
Yeah, I wanted to tell. There was something else about. Oh no, it must be in a later spot. Okay, so yeah, in response to his text, I said, "Big yay for Boston." So what's funny is the last workshop we were like, "Do we go? Don't we?" It took us a while to book because we're like, we don't know if we should go to this. This one, it was announced in August. We were on it like that.
Yeah.
I mean, the workshop wasn't until October, so it was a couple months away still. But we were like, we're booking right now.
We
We're in
booked it. I got my time off work, and away we went.
Yeah. So only 3 months from when the Chicago one was happening, the Boston one was happening. So they were very close together. But we so loved the first one. We were like, we're not missing out.
So did we have a whole lot between here and Boston on our notes?
I don't think so, but there might be a few more on other pages. I wanted to say though, I also text Rob at 11:11, and then I said, and yay again for Boston. So we were just super excited.
We were pumped.
Yeah. Now there was no fear, there was no nervousness, there was no, oh my God. It was like, we're going to see family again. We were just so excited. Okay, this is where this comes in now already. So, in between the Chicago workshop and wedding and first honeymoon, this came in the mail. And when I saw it, I was just amazed. Like, it just wowed me. And those of you that know us from our Facebook page, actually, this is also on our YouTube. So this sign is on both of our Facebook and YouTube pages. Oh, do I have it upside down? Probably backwards and everything. Oh, hey, look at that. It's all backwards in the screen, so I can't see it. No, now it's backwards.
Now it's backwards.
There
we are. I'm looking at this again. I'm looking at it both sides.
Yeah, don't worry. We'll figure it out eventually.
We'll be okay.
So how this ties in is when we were going to the Chicago workshop, I was already getting nudges of mission, of like sharing more. And I was happy to do that. But I said to Spirit, can you back off? Like, can I get married first? I mean, planning a wedding is enough. Like, just let me figure out one thing before I start another. So shortly after the wedding, they were already nudging me with the writing. And I did it in September of last year, and I titled it The 11 Things I've Learned on My Journey to Twin Flame Union, which is this. It is on our page, our Facebook page. Of course, it's not on YouTube, because it's writing. So I had written a bunch about what I had learned. I posted it in September after the wedding. But then now I was feeling more of a nudge to start mission. And we didn't even really know what that was. But I felt like, well, if we're going to have mission, we need a name. Like, I just didn't want to be Rob and Angie. Not that we're bad as Rob and Angie. But I don't know. I wanted a name. And I wanted something with the word twin in it. So I just kept thinking, twin what? Twin, like nothing was coming to me. Then we get this in the mail. Let me make sure I'm showing it the right way this time. We get this in the mail.
And it's an infinity.
Yes. And then I'm seeing the infinity, and then all of a sudden I'm seeing infinities everywhere. The word, the symbol, just, it's everywhere. Finally, it just popped into my head one day, and I text Rob, September 30th at 7:40 in the morning, TwinFinity! That's when TwinFinity was born.
Of course, I was at work, and my phone goes bing, and I go, what's that? Oh, wait a minute. That's us.
Yes.
And then I went, excellent, TwinFinity. Oh, yeah, and I didn't respond till what? 11:11. Yes.
Yep.
So it took me a while to add it up. Sorry, folks.
So not only did we meet an awesome friend in the Chicago workshop, she helped birth our name. TwinFinity. Yay. Do I have it right this time?
I think so.
Okay, good.
Hope so.
You have me paranoid.
Looks good.
So, totally cool. Thank you, Christine. You helped birth our name. What a gift. And then I said, yay for Twinfinity. And then I said, or twin-finity, question mark, question mark. So I'm still playing around with it, going, well, how do we want to like spell this? And I said, I keep seeing the word infinity. And this morning, it just hit me like I thought it would eventually. So I was just like so excited.
And it seemed to me that my contribution to the name, other than thinking of the whole name, was Twinfinity together, but TF in
Yes.
capitals.
Because I had not noticed that at all.
The TF was in there.
Yeah. That was brilliant.
So the capital F in the middle, I at least contributed something.
That's a lot. I didn't even notice the TF of it.
Okay, October 31st. No, October 3rd. That's a slash. Oh, uh-oh. Yeah, we're just getting ready to go, aren't we?
Yeah.
And I said, I regretfully am unsure if I can get enough done to get out anywhere near dark. In other words, get out of work anywhere near dark. I'm preparing this place not to need my singular knowledge for Friday. Yes, there was lots of things I was leaving undone.
And you were starting your busy season.
Starting busy season. I feel somewhat stuck. I will be earning my Friday off in spades. Love you. And now we are in Boston.
Yeah. So I wanted to just add that text, though, first of all, to explain that it's not always easy to go to these things. Like, again, our first one, we had a wedding that we were trying to plan. We had, financial stuff of a wedding and the honeymoon that we were planning. And now we're planning our real honeymoon. This is why we had two. So our quick, weekend honeymoon was just to do something after we got married.
Just to decompress.
Yeah. But our real honeymoon was the Rocky Mountaineer train.
We did that in September.
Yeah.
Just going to backtrack a little bit.
Yeah.
The train was actually the last 2 days of the trip. We took a whole week and we went out to Vancouver Island on the west coast and did some driving and touring around there. Saw some trees that are like 8 feet across. Okay, maybe 9, maybe 10 feet across. Some giant trees and lots of water and ocean, and stayed at some Airbnbs, which was something that was also new to me. And just spent time in Victoria, the provincial capital, and did a little shopping. And then we ditched our rent-a-car when we were still on the island and took a little light airplane, only a 12-seater float plane, back across to the mainland, landed right in downtown Vancouver in the harbor area there.
Which was really, really cool. I got to sit in the front seat. Rob was like so excited.
Yes, I was hoping that if we could get Angie any seat, it would be front seat beside the pilot, and we got that arranged. The plane was actually fairly lightly loaded, and they needed weight up front, and I was parked right behind her, and it was great. She got a front row seat. I was so excited about that.
That was really cool.
I've flown in lots of light aircraft before. I used to work at an airport, so for me to fly in a light airplane, I've been up hundreds of times. But Angie, no, that was her smallest airplane ever.
Yeah, it was really, really cool.
Not that a Cessna Caravan is a really small airplane, but it's small in comparison to most. And then we spent a day in Vancouver, and then we got on the passenger train, the Rocky Mountaineer, in Vancouver early one morning, and it wound us out of town and took us through the coastal mountains, and we got to see all sorts of stuff that you normally couldn't see from the highways.
No.
Yeah, sometimes the railway tracks broke away from the highways and went around the backside of a mountain. It was just really super beautiful. The weather was good. You could stand. They had outside viewing areas.
Oh, so cool. We spent so much time out there.
Out in the back of our railway car.
Yeah.
Got to Kamloops, which is halfway between basically Banff and Vancouver. Got to Kamloops, spent overnight there. They had that all really well organized. Yeah. We can maybe talk about that later. That was just crazy organized. We didn't have to walk more than 10 feet away from the railway cars to get on the bus, to get off the train, and to get back on the train the next morning. They pulled right up the same spot, take 4 or 5 steps, and back onto the railway car again. It was great.
Yeah.
Upper seat, dome cars. We went all out on that one. and all the Baileys I could possibly drink and remain coherent.
And he got mine too, since I don't drink. So lucky him.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got my wine too.
Oh, I got her wine. I got her Baileys. Not that I really got tipsy, but I wouldn't have been legal to drive anytime any time I was on the train. It was great, and I still remember stuff. I won't say everything. It was a great time.
It was incredible. I mean, we drive to the mountains all the time, but to see them from a different perspective, and even like there's an area where you're right down by what's called the Kicking Horse River, and this is such a beautiful river. We've both whitewater rafted.
We've rafted that. This will be on the second day from Kamloops into Banff.
Yeah.
Oh, it was amazing to see the Kicking Horse River from the river.
It was almost the color of your shirt, actually. It was such a beautiful blue. And
then to see the rapids that have been through, we've been through, just never together.
Yeah.
Aww.
And what's so funny about the timing of all this, again, why we're sharing this is not just about our journey, but about how the twin flame journey so works. If you may remember from way back, like almost a year ago, when we were sharing of how the first times when we met, now don't scream, there's a spider walking on our computer, but don't jump like you did in our bloopers video that we're going to show. Our next 44th video, still, see, we're already not done. Our next video is our bloopers video. Oh, it's just an ant. I lied. It's not a spider.
Yeah, I was going to say I couldn't see a spider, but I also couldn't see the ant.
Okay.
I saw the ant, actually, when we first started.
Sorry, I'm off on a tangent now, but I'm just going to explain this. We are going to have a 44th video. It is going to be a bloopers video because on our 27th video, I think it was just a very challenging day all over the place trying to do a video. But we finally get to a spot, finally like 20 some minutes into a video, and then Rob literally freaks out, grabs me, runs back, and we have to stop the video. So we kept that, and we are going to show you that and other bloopers in the next video.
We've had many bloopers, many false starts, many starts that just didn't happen.
So now back to this story. What I was saying is how amazing this journey is. So the day Rob and I met, July 25th, 1997, the very next day he was going on a whitewater rafting trip in like the middle of the night. Kind of weird. He had to leave in the middle of the night to get there because it was like a long drive. And then only weeks later, I was going on my whitewater rafting trip down that same river.
Down the same stretch of river, same sections of river, everything.
How amazing that all these years later, we end up on the train together looking at this river that we've both done whitewater rafting on, just not together. And then what's also neat about the journey is when we were the first mountain we climbed together with your friends and your karmic, when we were still in a relationship, we were just friends. This was only in 2014 or 15.
Something, yeah.
Now. It's in one of the videos. I don't know which one. We were sitting on top of the mountain, staring out, looking over the Rocky Mountaineer as it was going past.
Yes, we could see it in the valley.
And did we have any clue that only a couple years later we'd be together, we'd be married, and we'd be on that train?
Nope.
Had no clue.
Nope, not at that point.
So this is just the amazing journey that this path takes us on. You just never know. And that's why I always say never give up hope, never give up on your dreams. Because you just never know how things can change and shift.
Okay.
So yeah, back to
so that was honeymoon trip. Oh, that was a great week.
Yes.
Fantastic week. Now we are at Boston.
At Boston.
You want to start, or do you want me to start?
Sure, I'll start because I'm excited too. So it was just wonderful to reconnect with Dio and Marla and Negla, and then to meet Donna.
Donna,
we hadn't met her before. And not only to re-meet them as our, dear friends that we'd connected with before, but now we got to meet not only new people at the workshop, but there were some people that were in Chicago that came to Boston.
Yeah, so it's people we just met 3 months earlier. We get to meet all over again.
Yeah, so it's like a reunion. It was just awesome to reconnect with all these people and go, oh my God, like we just saw you, and how are you? And of course everybody was like, how are you guys? You got married, oh my God, tell us about your wedding. So yeah, that was really neat. I'll let you share some as well.
Well, I was going to go into the story about Marla And
Oh, sure.
And the audio is
Yeah,
this
yeah.
the right time?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Marla had asked if we would do a audio clip with her describing our journey. And yeah, we did that. We got together and she got out her recording device and we all breathed deeply and dove into a story and did about a 45-minute encapsulation of our journey from when we first met to right up to the time of getting married.
Yep. There was nothing rehearsed about it. She just asked questions and we, just candidly answered. Her whole intention of this was just to help inspire people that union does happen. Because hey, you all know on this journey, sometimes it's so hopeless, and you think, am I wasting my time? Am I just nuts? Is there really any union that's ever going to come from this? So that was her intention, is just to interview somebody that was in union to kind of give hope to other people, going, yes, this does really happen, even if it is 20 years later.
Then a little bit later on in that workshop, we were in with the full group and we basically got into the story all over again as a complete group. And Angie and I were telling our story. Of course, I'm thinking, it's just our story. But other than Angie and I, you could hear a pin drop in that room. Except you couldn't because it was carpeted. You wouldn't have heard the pin. Heard. But it was during the telling of our story again at that time that I realized that the story that we were telling was important, very important to the people who were listening. Everybody wanted to hear it. Everybody needed to hear it. And then it was commented a little bit later that we should do some videos to tell our story and put them out on YouTube.
And it was actually Donna who did that. Can I just backtrack a bit?
Sure.
When we were telling our story with the group, how it actually came out is we were late coming back after lunchtime with Marla because we were doing our interview with her. And so we were then explaining to everybody, Marla was explaining why we were late, that she was doing this interview, and people were like, well, we want to hear their story. So it just ended up, we just shared.
We just
like, okay.
Just told it again.
And interestingly enough, at that workshop, we were the only couple. When we were in Chicago, there was 3 other couples.
Yes.
But at this one, we were the only one. So, of course, people were extra enamored. And we're just thinking, it's just our story. Like, it's not that big of a deal. And we were sharing, and we, again, like, there was nothing rehearsed. I would just tell some, you would tell some. And then it was Donna afterwards. It was like, did you guys plan that? And we're like, no, this was all just last minute. And she was like, it's amazing how the 2 of you work together. Like, one would tell something, the other would tell something. We just flowed. We're like, I guess that's twin flame stuff. I don't know. Like, we didn't even know we were going to be doing this.
And then once in a while, one of us would get it wrong. Wrong part of the story. That's fine.
Yeah. And then I would have to, like, backtrack because you kind of skipped over some stuff. And I'm like, wait a second. If we're going to tell the story, let's tell the whole story. So we told the karmic stuff.
Yeah.
We told, much like we told you. We told all the drama that went on, and very brief, of course. I mean, we've taken 43 videos to tell this, so we told them very briefly.
Yeah, we still did the 45-minute version over again.
Yeah, exactly.
And then right at the end of Boston, Dio and us did the story again as about a 45-minute question and answer, more or less, video.
Yeah, and what was so funny with Dio, when he heard that Marla was doing it, he's like, hey, I was going to ask them to do a video. So he didn't know Marla was doing it already, so it was just kind of funny. So within one weekend, we told our story three times. And then when we were at dinner, all as a group, we were sitting near, some of the people, and Donna was the one saying, like, you guys did such a good job on that. You should do this, like, tell your story. And I'm like, well, our mission is actually to write books. And she's like, I could see you writing books, but I could totally see you guys, like, in video. You should do videos. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm not doing videos.
I thought videos was a good idea.
Yeah, because you're like the social videos person. I'm like, no, I'm not putting my face on the internet. Are you nuts? Well, once again, how is this journey? It'll force you to do things you don't want to do. But it prepares you for them, too. which is the next part. Do you have anything else to share about?
Boston?
I have one more thing to share about
See,
Boston.
Before you share you one more thing about Boston, Chicago is where I really propelled forward. Boston really quite solidified my feelings. It was nice. It was nice to feel it and get a stronger foundation underneath me. And it brought me to the point that, yeah, doing videos, yeah, that's the right thing to do. It brought me into mission. My opinion is that Angie woke up quite a bit in Chicago, but in Boston, Boston is where Angie really propelled forward.
Yeah.
Not that she needed to propel any more forward. Like, I could barely see her at the best of times out there somewhere. I'm always still playing catch up. But all of a sudden, she exploded into mission. And that, I find it rather interesting that we didn't both launch at the same time. I launched more out of Chicago, and Boston cemented my foundation. It was kind of the opposite.
It was the opposite for me.
Yes.
Yeah. In fact, I'm glad you mentioned that, because that ties perfectly into the other thing I wanted to say. But before I mention that, I also wanted to say, yes, for Chicago, because I'm like the shy, introverted one, I was so scared, I was nervous. Boston, I was totally excited. There was no fear, there was no nervous. There was just so much excitement because I was going to see my family again, right? I just didn't care about any fear. But I had also had a huge transition happen between the only short 3 months between Chicago and Boston workshop. Because when we were in Chicago, one of the things Kalina had all of the couples do that wanted to, and I think all of them did but one, or was it just two? I can't remember.
Can't remember. I think two did. Two
okay.
did.
We were one that didn't, because I was like, I'm not doing that. But what she did is she had them come stand up in the middle of the room and hold hands like this, so we're in the infinity symbol. And then we just were supposed to stare at each other's eyes and then just say whatever words came to them. Rob really wanted to do this, and I really didn't want to do this. I'm like, I'm not standing up in front of a whole room of people and they're all going to stare at me. There's no way in hell I'm doing that. Well, wouldn't you know, only 3 months later when we were in Boston,
we're doing it.
It wasn't planned. It was just a last minute thing. Marla said, if you guys feel comfortable, we'd love to have you. Oh, look at that little cute dude.
We got a fuzzy bug.
Oh, he's so cute.
Got a caterpillar.
Do you want to show her?
No, too small.
Okay, you won't show her. He's really black. I've never seen him like that. He's just a tiny little black fuzzy caterpillar.
Caterpillar.
Yeah.
One of them words.
Yeah. So yes, in Boston, Marla asked if we would be willing to do this, and I was just sure. Like, it didn't even dawn on me that it'd be scary, like it was 3 months before. And it was such an incredible experience.
Yes.
I am so glad we did that. By the end, everybody's bawling. I think we had everybody in the room crying. It wasn't our intention or anything. It's just, I forgot there was even a room full of people. We just were, sharing love between us.
When you're focusing on the person, the soul, it's just, especially when it's your other half of your soul, that's 2 feet away and you're holding hands. Yeah, there could be bombs going off. You wouldn't pay much attention to it.
Yeah, it was an incredible experience. In fact, for Valentine's Day this year. Yeah, we did that. We did a video for that and put it out. So if you haven't seen that, we do have that out there. Of course, it wasn't as impactful because you feel like you got a video in front of you. But it was a very, very good experience. So just to say how much transformation happened in such a short amount of time. Like, as I say, it was only 3 months between those 2 workshops. And I felt so much more comfortable at the second one.
I'd like to comment on energies. As much as Angie and I definitely feed off at each other's energies, to be in with all those other twins, it's just opens up so much more energy.
Yeah. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because that's another thing. I didn't get sick at all in Boston. I was completely fine.
Oh, she was bouncing off the walls. I was the one that was a little more subdued.
But because I had learned from, the stuff I was taught in Chicago about grounding and about crystals and about my energy and taking care of myself better, I knew what to do. And of course, there was also grounding. Marla did a grounding exercise every single day with everybody.
Yeah.
Which made a huge difference. So yes, at our workshop next month in Banff, each one of the ladies actually, Marla, Kelly, and Debbie, will each be doing the grounding exercises every day, just so we can all experience different ways of grounding, because there's many different ways. So yeah, there'll be lots of grounding. Did you have anything else to share about Boston?
Yes. This might sound a little bit like ego, and I think there was a little bit of tie with ego in this.
No,
but on the last day when the group was only together for 3 or 4 hours, Angie and I sat up right beside the other facilitators as opposed to being spread out amongst the group. And I felt really, really comfortable about being there. I went, yes, I really think it's time for me personally. I didn't know what Angie was thinking, but I felt like it was time for me to take more of a leadership role. So that really helped me propel myself forward there too.
Yeah, and who knew that only a year later we'd be taking the leadership role.
We'd be there.
Crazy how this journey works. In fact, that's one more thing to mention is when we went to the Chicago workshop, as we mentioned in our last video. By the way, I know some of you loved our little outfit change. I'm glad, because we thought it was crazy. We're like, oh my god, are people going to think we're nutcases? Don't worry, we are. And think for sure that we are. So we missed Canada Day when we were at the Chicago workshop. We also missed Thanksgiving when we were at the Boston workshop.
Yeah.
So we were in the U.S. for two of like Canada's important things.
Yeah.
But we didn't care.
No.
We were like, we want to be here. It doesn't matter what is happening. We will make sure we are there. We were so committed to being on the journey, being with others on the journey. It just was very impactful. And I have zero regrets. I was thrilled to go.
Anything else about Boston?
I don't think so. I just wanted, if you want to read this now, this is now that we've just come home from Boston.
Yeah, I said, yeah. Surrey could find our interview on the web.
So this is our interview with Marla Kelly.
Yeah.
She had posted it now, and we're like, oh my god, we're out there! Like, ah.
Yeah, we could ask Surrey on our Apple devices, and she found us.
Yeah. So I was like, yay for Surrey! I have to tell you something wild. Our dear Kelly, this is Kelly McKinstry, who is going to be one of the facilitators at our Banff workshop. So I said, our dear Kelly sent me another video where the lady talks of our interview with Marla and says she highly recommends people listen to it. And then I wrote, are you kidding me? Holy bleep! She talks about us at 15 minutes and 55 seconds into her audio.
15:55, there we go.
The 555. And I said, coincidence? Don't think so. 555 is happening, LOL. In other words, we were really starting to feel the call to mission after Boston. And the 555 was like change, right? And I was like, yeah, we're feeling it. Okay, so now this is October 16th.
October 16th. What did we do October 16th of last year?
That was the day after we were at this spot.
Yes.
Right here at the Peninsula area.
We've done our first video, our introductory video.
So now I want to explain a little bit about that. That was scary as hell for me. First of all, it was all weekend long. I was getting this like push from Spirit. You have to do this. No, you have to do this. And I'm like, I will do it. I am committed to mission, but let me do it in my own time. I'm not very nice to Spirit sometimes. In case you haven't noticed from our old story, when I get mad, I get mad. So I was like, I will do it, but like, let me evolve into this. Don't push me. But they were very insistent. It almost felt like a nudge like this on my back, like, go, do it. And so finally, Sunday morning, October 15th, Rob and I drive out to the mountains, and we're trying this spot and that spot.
Everywhere, here, there.
And it was windy, or it was snowy. It wasn't a beautiful day like it is today, so it was Nothing was working. So finally, I was like, again, because I'm not the friendliest sometimes in spirit. I was like, look it, you're the one that pushed me to come out here. So if you want me to do this, make it work. Do whatever you gotta do. But I'm here, I'm committed. So all of a sudden, we found this spot. It was perfect, it worked. We did a quick, just introductory video saying, hey, this is who we are, this is what we're gonna do. And it wasn't near as scary as I thought it was gonna be.
No, she did just fine. She did just fine. I was expecting to find it fairly easy, and I found it one notch harder. So, it's all about aligning expectations. If you're expecting something to be terrible, it usually is only half as bad as what you think. And if you're expecting something to be easy, sometimes a challenge shows up of some sort.
But it worked out. It was just like a quick 8-minute video. And then the next week was like a real video, which I'm going to talk about that actually, because it ties in.
Where's our notes?
Right here. What notes do you want?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
Oh, that's for the bloopers video.
Oh.
Yeah. No.
Okay. A little bit of wind, blowing things around. For those of us with no hair, it doesn't really matter much. It's about staying warm, hence why the hat.
So what was really neat about the first video that we did, October 15th in this location, was when we got back to the vehicle after doing the video, it was 5:55 p.m. in the truck, and I was just blown away. I was like, okay, here goes Spirit. Look at us, here comes the change.
Turn on the vehicle, everything fires up, 5:55.
Now, what was also so cool is we took a back road home, much like the day you took me on the tour of the Rockies, and we end up in Canmore from like a different way than we would normally go. And what do we see there?
Another version of reverse sunset. The sun was going down behind us, and there was clouds to the east, and the sun was reflecting across one of the small lakes. Again.
So this is something we had not seen since our very first day together back in
97.
October, but no, July of 97. I was going to say October of 97. No, July of 97.
So we've now seen 2 of these distinct reverse sunsets.
And it was almost like the universe was giving us a reward, like congratulations, you've taken the next step, you've answered the call to mission, here's your reward, another reverse sunset, just like you saw on the first day together. And it was almost like a cycle, right? Of like completion in one sense and starting over in another sense. Something, again, we couldn't have ever planned, but it was like this little gift from the universe. And it was really, really beautiful.
Yes.
So then the very next video that we did, we decided before we started sharing our story, we thought, you know what, it might be smart if we each talk about our own experiences before we even met.
Yeah, do an introduction to ourselves as individuals.
Yeah. And I chose to do mine in Banff because a lot of my story has to do with Banff, and just because I love the energy in Banff. So what's also funny is we did that, I think, the week after. So
yeah, 1 week later.
Yeah, because we started doing them every Sunday. That was our mountain day, still is. And again, it wasn't working. There was wind, there was snow factors. It just was like challenge after challenge. Finally, we found this perfect spot. And wouldn't you know it, it's like literally a, 5-minute walk?
5-minute walk from where our workshop's going to be. Yep, just down over the edge and 2/3 of the way down the riverbank.
Crazy.
Of the Bow River.
Crazy. I mean, there's no way we could have planned that. In fact, all of you that are going to the workshop, if you want to see that spot, we will take you for a walk and we'll show you, because it's really pretty. It overlooks Bow Falls, and it overlooks the Banff Springs Hotel, the famous hotel. Beautiful spot.
And to go to that exact spot is a little bit of a rugged hike.
Yeah, we may not take them.
Might not take them to the exact spot.
Just point and go, that's where we were, down there.
Down that rocky outcropping way down there, and don't trip on any roots or trees if you really want to try to go down there.
Yep. So that's been our insane journey of how we got started in this. We had not ever planned that we'd be telling our story in videos, but it just happened.
Video number 3, not to go too deep into this, was also a challenge, because that was my story. We had, again, for whatever reason, lots of wind, struggle, but we didn't know it. We didn't realize that wind was going to be a problem with the computer. So
we all knew this.
we found this spot, picnic table, edge of a lake, went out and told the story, went home and couldn't hear me because wind was going through everything. So I just did the video at home. At home. Redo. And that was to start a long series of videos that had numerous bloopers and redos and things that didn't exactly go perfect. The occasional cut and splice, not many.
Very few.
Very few.
Nope. There was only 2 videos where we each said our karmic's name and then we're like, oh,
oops.
Delete. Thank God I'm not one for editing. I don't like to edit videos. I like to just be authentic, right? But when you say real names, they're like, can't do that. So yeah, there was a few edits.
Okay, so where are we at?
Oh, here, I even mentioned in text about, okay, so yes, I text you on October 16th, so the Monday that I still now normally post videos after we do them on our Sunday, and I said, just wanted to let you know our video is posted on YouTube and is currently uploading onto Facebook. Once uploaded, I will share to the TF groups. I'm literally shaking. Terrified
About throwing ourselves out there to the world.
I was so scared.
The terror's long gone.
I said, feel the fear and do it anyways.
My only concern was, what if our previous karmics were to watch all these videos? Then we got thinking about it. We're only telling the truth anyway. They can see it.
And it was like, that'd be awesome, because they think things are worse than what they really are. So if they saw them, they know the truth. They would know that we're not the horrible people they think we are. So we were like, oh well.
Took me a little while to get past that.
Yeah, it was a little stress. And then a little later I said, I can't stop shaking. I'm so scared. And then I put the emojis with the big eyes. I'm like, ah. I was freaked out. And then I said, P.S. Creator gave us a second reverse sunset. We must be doing okay.
Yes, agreed.
I think I was more reassuring myself that Creator's saying, you're supposed to do this. It's okay. So then I said to Rob, just thought I'd send you an image of a few comments from our video. We have heard the call correctly and are on the right path. And those, by the way, are the same comments that you people still share with us. And why I always say thank you is because you're the most kindest,
very much
nicest people that helped us stay committed to doing this. If it wasn't for your comments, we probably would have been like, we're not doing this, it's too scary.
Well, or maybe we would have not done it quite so much in detail.
Maybe, I don't know.
I would have still wanted to follow through.
But
oh, and by the way, I figured 15, 20 videos at most.
Yeah, that's another thing. When Spirit calls you to do something, it doesn't always tell you the whole plan. You got to just go little by little. Had we ever known it was going to be 43 videos, we did not have any idea about that one.
I didn't realize that Angie's notes were so detailed.
All my journal writings.
And your journal writings.
And
then our text, too. We had so many.
And then every time I'd try to shrink it and tell less, Spirit would be like, nope, tell the whole story. And, okay.
And the whole story all of a sudden developed into hours.
But that's all the synchronicity that's happened along the way, right?
Time hours as well as hours. Our story.
Yes. Good point.
It's all hours.
You're funny.
What do we got next?
Okay, so then just a couple days later, I text you and I said, today Dio is going to share the video he did with us. And then I had more scary face.
And I think, did I just send back a bunch?
Yes. I'm going to see if I can show them that.
Oh, I don't know if that's going to show up, but you know the little emoji of giant eyes, like, oh my God, giant eyes?
Can you see that kind of where my finger is? All those little eyes. I'm sorry, you probably can't see because I'm shaking it too much. That was Rob's text back. In other words, we're like, oh my God!
Okay, this is exciting, but panic.
Yeah, the friendly call to mission. You're like, ah. So, yeah, then we were, like, officially out there. Our video, Marla's video, Dio's video, it was like...
And then we were starting into our own.
Yeah, universe was like, okay, you're on your own now. You figure it out.
Then we fast forward to today.
Here we are.
I have been waiting a year to catch up with ourselves.
Yeah, you've been so wanting to catch up with ourselves.
We just caught up with ourselves.
Yes, we did.
We're here. We're now. Yay! It's been a great journey.
On another completion day that Marla just shared about yesterday.
Yeah.
That's just, again, crazy.
Welcome here.
Yay! We made it!
Yay!
And thank you to all of you. For some of you in our last video wrote comments about you've watched every single one of our videos. In fact, one of you, oh my God, your comment was so funny. I've watched every single one of your videos, and I've never been like wowed the way I was with Rob's ring. She's like, I've been floored by some things, I've been shocked, but Rob's ring, that like did it to me. And I was just like bursting out laughing. And I told her she deserves an award for watching every single one of our videos. So to all of you that have watched them all, congrats to you. Thank you all for your support, your love, your comments. We couldn't honestly do this without you, nor would we want to, because we weren't doing this for us, we were doing it for you. And you've obviously stepped up to the plate and answered your call just as much as we did, because if it weren't for all your kind comments, Rob said he might still continue. I don't know if I would have. I would have been too chicken.
And by the way, I'm gonna make almost a contradictory comment.
Uh-oh.
There was many times that we went out to do a video that we just incorporated the stop to do the video into some of our hiking or snowshoeing days. And some of that was just so beautiful, even for us. You know, flip open the screen and see what was behind us, and look back there ourselves, and then look forward and see where we were. And I just had to pick up the monitor and twist it around. It was just beautiful, beautiful days. As much as as the traveling out and the traveling back has been probably a couple hundred hours of going out and back to the mountains to do some of these. And sometimes we only went to our own backyard too. So some of it we didn't have to travel very far.
Yeah.
It's been a great journey. Like, wow.
So much.
And yeah, we are going to be continuing.
For sure. For sure.
To be continued, just at a slower pace.
Yes. Doing a weekly video is a lot of work, and I'm really looking forward to a bit of a break.
This is going to be a bit of a vacation for her. So, of course, it's not going to be for another probably month before we have a chance to really tune it down.
Yeah.
With the workshop coming up, and then we got question and answer video, and we'll probably do a recap of the workshop. And
yeah, we got lots of videos.
There's still lots to go.
Don't worry.
It'll be Christmas time before we start to even come close to running low on material, and then there'll just be more.
Exactly.
The material won't end. I just haven't seen it yet. It will be provided. Thank you very much, creator.
Yes. And yes, so just a reminder, our next video will be still, of course, there's no story left to tell because we pretty much caught up. But we're going to go through and share just a little story of each of the videos that we've done, where we did them, kind of maybe some of the backstory that you don't know about, much like our behind the scenes pictures. And then of course we'll share all our bloopers. So that's very next video coming up. So there's still more. Don't worry, for those of you panicked, we're not going anywhere.
All right.
But for now, our sun went down and it's gotten chilly, so we're going to go for this video.
And I think that there's just a little bit of a rain shower coming. We're going to need time to pack up and to get everything covered up.
So just as a reminder about the workshop, there's very few spaces left and there's very few time left. There's not even 2 weeks left before our Banff workshop. So if you're still interested, the information will be below. You can reach out to us if you have questions. Otherwise, we will see you there. We're so excited to see you guys.
Yes.
Yay.
Okay.
All right. So as always, remember to connect with your twin, go within, and we will catch you on the next bloopers video.
All right. Have a good week.
Love you guys.
Bye.
Bye.